So let's say when I sometimes face fear, so I just don't do anything, because then I would kind of exaggerate the dangers of that specific thing which I'm attempting to do, and would not go all out in that. So I just kind of wait for certain emotions to die down on their accord. But to overcome your doubts and insecurities, we can use the David Goggins approach. So what he does is that he kind of creates two personas in his mind. One is of an ideal self which he wants to become. You can name it any person, and one is his current self. So yo guys, namaskaram. So today I wanted to talk about some perspectives which can maybe help you to not be stuck in life for whatever reason. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing is kind of stop looking at your present from the lens of the past. You might see that every day seems pretty much the same. People going about their business, the day to day life kind of going on, but subtly a lot of things are changing. They may not show it, but their behaviors and thinkings towards certain things change subtly. There are always new trends picking up because of this factor. The aim should not be to fixate on life by seeing outside appearances and making them perfect, but to make an impression that lasts longer, well beyond you. You should not be hurt by your past mistakes. Every day you are a new person. Why don't you expect the same from others as well? Maybe focusing on your attitude and behavior towards certain things and what you can improve by 1% every day can be a good approach to have in life. Like nothing ever remains stable. People always crave novelty. So do you capitalize on that? That's the only question. A thumb rule to follow in life is to not take any major decisions in life when your emotions are flared up. You always want to be the person who is calm and rational in their approach and deals with things with as much objectivity as you can. Some ways around it would be to have a very close, good set of friends who are very rational and objective and who would speak you the truth, whether you're in wrong or you're in right, like who can look at situations objectively. Or maybe if you can, like, turn off that emotional side and just kind of write the details of that event in as much objectivity as you can. Like usually what I follow is that whenever I am angry, I don't do anything specifically. Like I let that out and then I take my decisions. So let's say when I sometimes face fear, so I just don't do anything, because then I would kind of exaggerate the dangers of that specific thing which I'm attempting to do, and would not go all out in that. So I just kind of wait for certain emotions to die down on their accord. But like whatever helps you, whatever kind of gets your crank running. So that's the message here. So I think often in life we tend to overestimate other people's abilities and assume that they are perfect and cooler than us, and we tend to underestimate our own abilities, downgrading ourselves like crazy in the process. Reverse the script. Mostly, if you're following a routine in life which includes some form of physical workout, some form of reading and development, and let's say some sort of aiming towards certain pursuits in life, you are miles ahead of people who are just sitting there and passing time by seeing useless reels and gossiping about others. Trust yourself more and others less, simply because you are winning through your actions while others are only winning through their words. They want to win through actions, but of course it's hard, right? Ignore stupid people like you ignore stupid children. Their minds are hardly developed. Naval says that people who are endlessly fighting on social media are like validating themselves by winning stupid prizes. So he says, like I quote, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, end quote. So I think to add to this, I might say, like, play stupid games, win stupid prizes among stupid people who don't matter. Life is kind of limited. Pick up your battles wisely. Following the strategy of concentrating your forces on a limited set of actions, or let's say purposes, can really help you drive monumental or incremental crazy amounts of progress. The more scattered you are in life, the less of an impact it creates. Master things at a reasonable level and then move on to newer pursuits once you have achieved a certain level of accomplishment. Grinding long hours doesn't mean you're more productive, it just means you're merely dumb. Not to have figured out a process to automate the unnecessary redundant task from your work. We are not machines, we are bloody humans. Grinding long hours was a thing for factory workers in the past, but now we are so blessed to have the most advanced technology the planet has ever seen in its history. Why are you not using it to solve your own problems, or maybe, let's say, solve the problems that you hate doing and make you lethargic and lazy? Automate every other thing that you feel like a waste of time. Your life should be only invested in the highest value addition adventures. The tendency of fear, doubt, discouragement, and anger should be replaced with faith in your own self. Not doubting the outcome, but believing that you can learn whatever you need to in the process. Replacing constant talks in which you discourage yourselves and others with words of encouragement, let's say towards yourself and maybe towards others as well at times. And seeing everything from a place of value addition. We must rid ourselves of such tendencies which hurts us like crazy. So Buddha uses this analogy that, like, anger is like a piece of burning coal that you hold in your hand and then you kind of expect others to face its wrath, like others hand should be burned, but that's not how it is. So maybe just replacing such feelings with more value addition feelings would be the need of the hour. So some simple questions that can help you to analyze situation in its proper context would be that, okay, if I die right the next hour, would this thing matter to me so much? Often in life, we are so bombarded by a sense of, I might say, fake urgency that wants us to be stimulated all the time. Like, ignore stimulation, choose the simplicity of life over that. Like, focus on the quality of relationships you hold and what would help them make deeper. So, let's say if you don't respond to that text, that email, right this second, but you choose your relationships, I think that would be much more impactful in that sense. Of course, there's a proper time when you need to do that, but not all the time. That's what I want to say. So the truth is, I think the moment you die, the company's work that you're stressing so much over would replace you in the first instant. So Voltaire says that, I quote, judge a man by his questions rather than his answers, I unquote. So I think focusing on deepening your questions is much more important than being a Mr. Know All. No one cares about your knowledge. The only thing people care about is the impact that you have created in their life. Have you helped anyone become better? Have you helped someone rise to an enlightened life state when he was suffering in the depths of hell in his own mind, suffering unnecessarily? Small incremental steps are the only way to create something groundbreaking. Everything has a certain rhythm to it. The more I have observed nature, the more I have found it to be true. You need to attune yourself to the rhythm of the universe or maybe the rhythm of the things around you. You would feel much more closer to your being doing that. So, another way would be to kind of keep a dream journal. So, I heard this idea from Rick Rubin lately. He's a very famous producer, musician, and all that. So, the idea here is to kind of access the subconscious side more. When you're going to sleep, or let's say you're just coming out of sleep, is when your unconscious or your subconscious mind is the most active. So waking up and writing whatever gibberish you have is a great way to access the depth of your soul, or let us say your being. Your soul is a heavy word for you. So all types of information exists out there. The only question is how aware are we becoming in this process of life to kind of get attuned to that information. So I think the more aware we become, the more impactful our life would be, which helps us to kind of, like, from an overall long term subjective view, derive more meaning in life. To take an example from our environments, it's a well established fact that we are heavily impacted by it. Let us say you go for nature walks, you would feel how transformed you would become in the process after stressful work. So maybe spending more time in nature helps to get in touch with what you really want, or another way would be to kind of, let's say, consume the content of people who have a certain depth to their work, a certain depth to their art. And like, people who are maybe just genuinely crazily committed to their craft. So not crony businessmen, but genuine lovers of that field. You would be able to distinguish such people through their tone, the emotional voice, the whole body language with which they bring their craft to the table. So I think that really makes the difference, a hell lot of difference. Whatever you're working on would not kind of define you for your entire life. It's just a, like, consider it like a stepping stone for the next big thing, which may come years down the line, built on top of this specific thing. But you need to start. So I think to overcome your doubts and insecurities, we can use the David Goggins approach. So what he does is that he kind of creates two personas in his mind. One is of an ideal self which he wants to become. You can name it any person. And one is his current self. So the current self is kind of dealt, like, it's an imperfect being for that matter, that it's filled with these doubts, insecurities, and the aim is to kind of become that XYZ person. So if you kind of name it, that also helps for some people. So I think that's a small video which I wanted to do. Let me know what you feel about it. And this is Debashish Pindra from Debukidastak signing off. Cheers. Just a couple of updates. So my website is live now. So you can go to www.debukidastak.com. There you'll find a lot of resources. I have my blog running there. I have my reading list for the years. If you have any suggestions, comments, I'll be happy to take that feedback in and improve, because I just want to build a community which is hell smart and just always living in the world of ideas and making things happen.